what are we on, day 7? Okay. All right, day 7, part 2. I was just at Bonsai West, and I also was, from viewers, told to come and check out the New England Bonsai Gardens. And so we're right at the entrance, and I've got Scott with me today, right, Scott?
Absolutely. Hi, how's it going?
It's going great, Scott. So why should people just come here? I mean, it's fantastic. We're gonna go see in a little bit, but you've come here and tell us just a little bit about the place before we go in.
Oh, this place, they have a great selection, some really great examples of some tremendous bonsai, and they've got a lot of starter plants too. So if you're just starting, you can sort of see what you might be able to achieve with some time and effort. They also have a lot of great classes here to learn from and get your feet wet. There's a bonsai club that meets here monthly, usually the first weekend of the month on a Saturday, and a lot of great experts around here to help you start or continue your journey with bonsai.
For sure, and it's a journey, right? It's a journey. It's a lifelong journey. I say that all the time. It's a journey. We're in Bellingham.
Yes,
Massachusetts. All right, so we're going to head inside and take a couple peeks at some of the trees that kind of piqued our interest on the first walkthrough, and we'll go from there. Coming into the kind of more tropical zone here, and oh my gosh, look at this bougainvillea. When you walk into a place like this, when you come from a state that doesn't have any trees like this is almost overwhelming, Scott. I mean, to see this, it just seems impossible. Some of these trees.
Even being local from here and seeing this tree regularly, it seems impossible. It's amazing.
I've got to show folks at home, including my good friend Nick, all the PAs. We had a little panel discussion a couple years ago with some of my MBS members, and I think I did one of my YouTube channel interviews, or I did something, and we talked about PAs and how some people are just, yeah, you know, PAs is bonsai. Are you kidding me? And now these are all smaller ones, but that one I showed moments ago, a lot of clump styles here. Just some really cool things with PAs. So folks from the Minnesota Bonsai Society Club that worked on a willow leaf ficus last year, this one will take a little longer to get to.
The one behind you had the root that merged into the base.
Oh yeah, so here's the back of this tree. I didn't even look at this side before. Look at this nabari. And then some of us like aerial roots, some of us not so much. But look at this old aerial root that comes right down there from that top. It circles down there and it just gets buried into the nabari of this tree. So a couple of astonishing willow leaf ficuses here and back to the left. Look at that base too. Do we even look at that one?
I don't think we did.
All these PAs. Okay, why not? One more. Look at that. And then if you like those exposed roots, this is looks like a Chinese elm. Scott's going to double check. Imported Chinese elm. So, you know, a couple of these have the really fun exposed roots. And look, PAs as far as the eye can see. So a ton of those. Great starter material. You can do so much with them. So here we have Chinese juniper, which is the juniper, the species that John Naka made that forest I was at just a couple days ago at the National Bonsai and Penjing Museum. And look at this little starter forest. See, this is a John Naka wannabe. I think it would take a few hundred years, but we could get there. Oh, I gotta show you something else. So if you've watched my channel at all, Scott, I have the 40-year-old ficus, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
This one looks a little better at the moment though, right?
Well, yours is a work in progress.
Work in progress, and mine's 40 years old, and the trunks are as thick, if not thicker, so you know, it could rival that someday.
Absolutely.
That's fun. But then over here, we get these in our nursery stores in Minnesota as a house plant, and look at this, everybody. They got them in bonsai pots. See? I'm not crazy to make a triangularis ficus, which they're calling a Natal ficus. So I'm a little confused, but we'll have to maybe do some research. But there are those beautiful variegated leaves, and I have one in the car actually, Scott. Yeah, I should give that one to you. So, Scott, your dive into bonsai started when again?
About 2 years ago. You know, I've been in horticulture different ways throughout my life. My parents raised me doing a lot in the gardens, and my grandfather was a collector of lilacs, had over 100 varieties that we still own the property and maintain that up in Vermont. England Bonsai Gardens, stop by in the spring and see a beautiful lilac collection.
100 plus varieties?
Yep, in Randolph Center, Vermont.
Have you ever considered bonsai-fying some of those?
I tried a couple in my first stint, you know, a couple years ago, and they both died over the winter. So I'm learning more before going again.
I've heard the Little Miss Kim or the Japanese, yeah, some of those varieties.
The Korean Miss Kim is a nice one. It does miniaturize well. It has small leaves and it has small blossoms that I've seen a lot of good bonsai out of that. And I have one growing in my yard, actually two, and I'm gonna take some rootings off of that and try again.
And Scott, help me out. It looks like an elm leaf.
It's a Chinese elm.
It is a Chinese elm. Look, but they're a little bit bigger leaves. That's a big Chinese elm leaf, but a stunning. I mean, look at that trunk. Fabulous. We saw a ginkgo forest back here from the other side.
A bunch of ginkgos, yeah.
Yeah, a big pile of ginkgos.
It looks better from this side.
It kind of does.
It looked a little lanky from the other side.
Just get rid of that front one, just one of them, and I can see that tree and I'd be good.
Yeah.
Beautiful pine, look at that. So this has berries on it.
It's a firethorn.
A firethorn, new species to me. So Scott, what's your, currently with a couple years in, do you have a favorite species? Do you think you lean in towards a certain style? What do you?
I really like Hinoki cypress. I think they're beautiful, and I think they do bonsai well. The flatness of the pads that grow out of them are fun. I wish they back budded a little better.
That's a trick with those, right? Yeah, that's a trick. So I was always afraid of them because of that.
That's one that I like, but haven't by any means gotten a grasp on how to do well.
Yeah.
But I like variety, and the nice thing about bonsai is I can have a small bench, you know, that's 6-8 feet long, and have 8, 10, 15 different plants there, and be able to see how they grow. So I'm learning and allowing my nature to get a lot of everything.
For sure.
To go with bonsai.
Yeah, awesome.
We can all watch, you know, videos online and learn a lot from that, but having that hands-on experience when you get in a tough spot on how to do things, a club is really helpful for that part of it.
And the enthusiasm and experience that the club can give you, and people, again, who know what they're doing, and it's hands-on, it's right now, and you're touching and feeling it and learning it right there. Yeah, you can't beat that. Look at the cork bark maple. This is a Japanese maple.
Yep.
Japanese cork bark maple. Look at that bark. It's thick and gnarly, and cork looks more like a kind of a pine trunk than a maple trunk. That is phenomenal. Okay, here's a Satsuki, everybody. Look at this azalea. And I'm sure it was in bloom about a month or so ago, but oh my gosh. And look at down there. Look at how beautiful that spread is, and fairly radial all the way around, because the backside might have a little indentation there, but oh my gosh. Do we dare look at the price on that bad boy?
Not for sale.
Not for sale, so that means I can't afford it. That means I can't afford it. Remember, y'all, to not judge a book by its cover. Larch trees in Minnesota, tamarack sold at nurseries, they'll put on the pot, hey, don't throw me away when my leaves fall off. Look at this guy. So, Scott, you said this was a variegated juniper.
Yeah, it's a San Jose variegated junipers as labeled.
And look at that. Look at the variegation on a juniper. I'd look at that and say, like, okay, am I overwatering? Am I underwatering? Do I have some kind of blight going on? Look at that. And then it's just some stunning trees out on display out here. Look at that Chinese elm. I was talking to Scott earlier. I've seen about 3 or 4 different colored trunks on these Chinese elms in here today. So a lot of variation, and oh my gosh.
The next big one over there almost looks riveted, the way the dots and flakes coming off it.
Yeah, we got to show them that one. So you can come and start at any level you want. Very beginners to, of course, extreme professional maybe who made this tree. Just out by the Adirondack chairs, sitting cozy as a centerpiece. Yeah, we all wish we had that, huh? Okay, now look at this one, everybody. And again, that's another Chinese elm. Look at that up there.
Really interesting deadwood for an elm. You don't usually see that, but it looks in place on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't see that very much. That's really reserved for pines and junipers and such. Look at that. Now, being from Minnesota, if you join a workshop with me, you're not going to be in this facility, but look at this, the New England Bonsai Gardens. Some wonderful space to work on trees. Bonsai acres in the future? Anyone? Anyone? Maybe? Scott?
Yeah,
Maybe?
I think so.
Okay.
I'll come to Minnesota, visit it.
You'll come just to see a workshop in my new space.
Well, I'll have to come twice because I'm going to plant a tree and then come back and get it in 10 years.
That's right. We'll plant a tree. I'm just going to have people tag a tree. Maybe I'll take my camera and I'll go down the rows and Scott's going to say, that one!
I'll bring us some lilacs.
Oh, there we go. Let's get some lilacs, one of the 103 varieties. We've got a couple that are good bonsai ones. We'll put those in the ground. Clearance pots, find one. There's a big cascading brown squarish pot that might work for a cascade.
They're taking lessons from Nigel here with the aloe and such in bonsai.
An aloe bonsai. Nigel, did you come visit here? That's great. So I'm contemplating picking up a little starter Hinokian. Look at that. In the ground. And with all these little light green tips on this, it just gives it kind of almost a spiral look in some ways. It's just the most...
It looks like flaky pastry in some ways.
Yeah, flaky pastry, exactly. All the little layers in there that are just ready to peel right off. And then if you need a pot. And Scott...
This is their production pot area, so
right.
a lot of these are, less expensive than some of the ones made by specific artists.
Sure.
But,
and they have some of those here too, right?
Those. A lot of local artists have joined the bonsai club around here and that are artisans and like to do pottery and have shifted to bonsai pots, some of them exclusively.
Yeah, like Sarah Reyna did years ago. So Sarah's in my backyard, about 45 minutes away from me, and now she exclusively is bonsai pots, and she's almost done. Her career is coming to a close, I think, probably in the next few years. I don't know, I shouldn't say that. I don't know for sure. So as Scott was saying, this section back here, these are all the local potters, right, Scott?
Yeah, these are all the local potters. A lot of them, doing bonsai exclusively, or at least just got the itch, and have taken up making a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I know Paul Olson from the Bonsai Club. He's helped us and brought clay to the club and allowed us to make our pots through the club, which has been a great experience.
Yeah, what a cool thing to do. Look at all that texture.
He's sort of minimalist on the glazes, but has some phenomenal textures.
Yeah, some fantastic textures. Yeah, some of these, holy cow, look at that. Yeah, I like that. I like this. I picked this round one up earlier. I like that one. I'm trying to think of a tree I could put that in. So many pots, so many trees, so little time. So, though this was not my intention, some of the incredible people of the bonsai community, which I say over and over on my show, this is a pretty cool group of people in YouTube, and everybody's out to support each other, and people have been giving me some gifts along the way, and I got another tree to add to the collection. So Scott, look at this. Tell me what's going on here, Scott.
Well, I work at a local apple orchard in Leominster, Mass, Sholin Farms, which is actually owned by the city. And Leominster, Mass is the home of Johnny Appleseed, Chapman. And figured since you're coming to New England and Massachusetts that I had to give you an apple tree from Leominster, Massachusetts.
Look at that.
So this has been in the pot for since March of 2023. It seems to be doing well, and I think I'd like to see what
I'm going to do with it. Fabulous. Well, thank you so much. That is
Absolutely.
So great.
Well, it's only a small way that I can repay all the knowledge that you've transferred through the screen to me and many other people, I'm sure. But I've really enjoyed it, and for YouTube, this is a little way to repay.
Well, cool. Well, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for that. Well, another whirlwind day. I finally made it to my brother's in upstate New York. Met Nate and Sean and Scott. We went to Bonsai West. I went to New England Bonsai Garden. All great stuff, videos coming, but I gotta get some sleep.